ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सोऽयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। सर्वशास्त्राब्धिपीयूष सर्ववेदैकसत्फल सर्वसिद्धान्तरत्नाढ्य सर्वलोकैकदृक्प्रद सर्वभागवत प्राण श्रीमद्भागवत प्रभो कलिध्वान्तोदितादित्य श्रीकृष्ण परिवर्तित परमानंद पाठाय प्रेमवर्षाक्षराय ते सर्वदा सर्वसेव्याय श्रीकृष्णाय नमोऽस्तु मे। मदेकबन्धो मत्सङ्गिन् मद्गुरो मन्महाधन मन्निस्तारकमद्भाग्य मदानंद नमोस्तुते। असाधु साधुतादायिन् अतिनीचोच्चताकर नमुंच कदाचिन्मां प्रेम्णारथकंठयो स्फुर। श्रीमद्भागवत महापुराणम की जय। Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you in today's session. So we continue our discussions from 11th canto. We are studying from 11th canto, second chapter, chapter entitled Maharaj Nime Meets the Nine Yogendras. So in this chapter, till now, we have seen two sections uh, till text 23. Yesterday, we completed discussion till text 23. So in that first 9 verses, they talked about Vasudeva's welcoming Narad Muni. Narad Muni arrived in Vasudeva's palace, and the joy of Vasudev in receiving Narad Muni and also his enquiries, they have been discussed in first 9 verses. Then from verse 10 onwards to text 23, which we completed yesterday, we have seen how Narad Muni himself expressed joy at the questions of Vasudeva. In 3 verses, he expressed that happiness and joy, gratitude that Vasudev had made the inquiry about Bhagavata Dharma. And then Narad Muni, he decided to answer this question of Vasudeva based on an ancient conversation that happened between Nimi and Navayogendras. So, in order for that, he started speaking about the Navayogendras and the dynasty of the Navayogendras, meaning the previous descendants of that particular dynasty, so ancestors of that dynasty. So Narad Muni spoke about them and spoke about their exalted position. They were all Mahabhagavat devotees, the Navayogendras. So we have discussed all that yesterday. So now today we discuss the further sections. So from text 24 onwards now till text 29, there is discussion about Navayogendras arriving in the court of Maharaj Nimi and the welcome done by Nimi. So this is the topic of next 6 verses from 24 to 29. And then text 30 and 31 would describe the questions asked by Nimi, which are basically the same questions as asked by Vasudev. It's about Bhagavata Dharma, because that was the purpose of quoting this conversation. It was to answer the questions or a question of Vasudeva about Bhagavad Dharma. So those two inquiries of Nimi Maharaj will also be discussed. And then from text 32 onwards, we will see there is discussion about uh, the answers given by the Navayogendras. Okay. So first, Navayogendra's arrival in the court of Nimi, King Nimi. This is the section. All right. So let's go ahead. Okay, this is text 24. Tae kada nimeh satram उपजग्मुर्यदृच्छया वितायमानं ऋषिभिर् अजनाभे महात्मनः. All right. So this particular section, may I request Radha Govardhan Prabhu, would you be able to read the translations whenever I call out?
Yes, Hare Krishna Bhoji. I
Hare
can.
Krishna, yes, Danvat Pranam. So please read.
Once in Ajnab, the former name of earth, they came upon the sacrificial performance of the great soul Maharaj Nimi, which was being carried out under the direction of elevated sages. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Prabhu, thank you. So, yes. So, त एकदा निमेह सत्रम उपजग्मुर्यदृच्छया वितायमानं ऋषिभिर अजनाभे महात्मनः. So once in Ajanabha Varsha, the former name of the earth, later it became to be known as Bharata Varsha. So Ajanabha Varsha, the same earth. Ajanabhe. So there was Nimehe Satram. Maharaj Nimi, the king Nimi, had arranged for a great sacrifice. So where many priests are required, it's a very huge sacrifice. Satra is not just a small Agnihotra Yagya or something. No, it is a very big sacrificial Satra, sacrificial performance where there could be multiple Yagya Kundas and also number of priests involved. Many priests are involved, probably hundreds of priests may be involved also. So that is Satra. Satra is a very huge sacrificial performance. So in that Satra, in that sacrificial performance, the sages went there. Yadrichaya, it is mentioned Yadrichaya. They went there with their own desire. This word comes in many places in Shastra, in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yadricha. So, Yadricha can be translated in different ways. Basically, it means that there is no cause for that thing. Yadrichaya, it is causeless. It is completely as per their desire. They were not sort of invited there, or they it's basically their own desire. That is yadrichaya, independent choice or desire. Sometimes it could also mean by Lord's arrangement, by the arrangement of the Lord, by Lord's inspiration, they went there, right? By the will of the providence. Sometimes that is how it is also translated. So yadrichaya, nirhetuka. It does not have any hetu in it. It is completely causeless. So they went there. Vitayamanam rishibhir ajanabhe mahatmanaha. So this particular satra, this great sacrifice was being executed, was being carried out under the instruction of great sages. So all these Navayogendras, they went there. Mahatmanaha, the word Mahatmanaha has come for uh, the Maharaj Nimi. Nimehe Mahatmanaha. The great soul, Maharaj Nimi was himself a very wonderful devotee, great devotee of the Lord. And these Navayogendras, they were the Paramhamsas, the greatest of all the sages. So they went there, visited this particular place. So that's all. There is not much to be discussed there. तान् दृष्ट्वा सूर्यसङ्काशान् महाभागवतान् नृप यजमानोऽग्नयो विप्राः सर्व एवोपतस्थिरे. Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Radha Govardhan Prabhu, you can continue. Right, I think maybe Prabhu is not able to read. All right, so Ishwar Prabhu, you continue.
Yeah, bro. Translation. My dear king, seeing those pure devotees of the Lord who rival the sun in brilliance, everyone present, the performer of the sacrifice, the brahmanas, and even the sacrificial fires stood in respect. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna.
thank you. Thank you. तान् दृष्ट्वा सूर्यसङ्काशान् महाभागवतान् नृप. So you can see those nine great sages, they are said to be what? They are said to be Surya Sankashan. Sankasha means that which resembles, that which is sadrishta is that similarity, and they resemble. So they resembled, sun, meaning they were so effulgent, they were so brilliant. Here also it is shown. They were so brilliant, Surya Sankashan. And they were Mahabhagavatas, Mahabhagavatan. They were the Paramhams devotees. So seeing them naturally, very effortlessly, inadvertently, very automatically, everyone got up in respect to them as soon as they arrived on the scene. So who all? Yajamano, the host, and the king himself, Agnayaha, also the fires that are there in the yagya, even they were there in personified form. Fires like Ahavaniya. There are various kinds of fire, and these are also personalities, right? Ahavaniya, Garhapatya, Dakshinagni. In Vedic sacrifices, these fires are seen. So those fires also, Agni in their personified form, they also stood in respect. Vipraha, and of course the priests, the Brahmanas, they also Sarva eva upatasthire. All of them stood in great respect because that was the presence of these great souls, Navayogendras. They were so effulgent that everybody felt that these, even those who didn't understand their position very perfectly well, but they understood that these must be exalted sages. Of course, All the associates of Nimi are also said that they were all interested in Bhagavad Dharma. They were very devoted to Bhagavad Dharma. So these are also great souls only, all the associates of Nimi, all the priests and other associates. So it was very natural that they stood in respect when the Navayogindras arrived there. Sridhar Swami says, Yajamano Nimihi. The word Yajaman here means Nimi, the king Nimi. He was the host, right? Agnayaha Ahvani Ahvani Yadayaha. So Agni means the fires are personified fires like Ahavani and all, because it is said they stood in respect, no? So it is basically personality, right? So the all those fires also which are there in the sacrifices, they also stood in respect. Vipra Ritvigadayaha. And Vipras are the various priests. There are various priests in the sacrifices, right? There are Hota, Udgata, Dvaryu, Brahma, and these all priests are there typically. Four priests are there on the four sides of the Yajna Kunda. Hota, one who looks after the fire, that the fire is constantly there blazing. So one who lights up the fire and also maintains the fire, offers the oblations, that person. Hota, Udgata, and those who are chanting the mantras. Brahma, one who is the overall in charge, or sometimes Adhvaryu is said to be also overall in charge. Similarly, the other priests which are involved even in assisting and all that, Brahma, Adhvaryu, Hota, Udgata, all sort of also assistants to them and all. So everyone, these Vipras, everyone stood in respect to when the Navayogindras arrived there. All right, text 26. Videhastan Narayana Parayanan Ritah Samapujayan Chakre Asanasthan Yatharhatah.
King
Yes,
Videha Nimi understood that the nine sages were exalted devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, overjoyed at their auspicious arrival, he offered them suitable sitting places and worshipped them in a proper way, just as one would worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
thank you. Videhas Tan Abhipretya Narayana Parayana. So Videha, King Videha, Nimi, those are his names only. So he, understanding that they are Narayana Parayanas, they are very great devotees, exalted devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he became extremely happy that they had arrived there. Pritaha, he was not thinking, oh, here come the guests. So when he understood that those great devotees have arrived, right? Even a normal guest comes in house, it is said that one should be very happy. Atithi. So they are to be treated like demigods, Atithi Devo Bhava. So what to speak of these great devotees who are Narayan Parayanas? They are well known as Paramhamsa Bhaktas, the greatest of devotees. So when they arrived there, understanding them to be Narayana Parayanas, those who have accepted Narayana as the supreme shelter, as the supreme beloved object of their life, Narayana Parayanas. Parayana, the word means Param Ayanam. Ayanam means shelter. Param means the highest. So, Supreme Lord Narayana is only their highest shelter. That is Narayana Parayana. Like that. So, understanding these sages to be those exalted devotees of Supreme Personality of Godhead, the king became extremely happy. Pritaha. And that's why Sampujayan Chakre, he very systematically, very in a perfect manner, as it behooved, Vidhivat, he performed worship of them. So in a typical Vedic setting, how the guests were worshipped, with offering them very proper uh, articles of worship, arghyam, padyam, all that, washing their lotus feet and then offering them water for drinking, offering them very honored seat, all those things, asanam and all that. So in that way, he welcomed them. Asanasthan yatharhataha. He made them sit on a very good asana, suitable asana, and then worship them very, very wonderfully. Yatharhataha. Just as it is said, just as it is appropriate. Yatharhataha. So, as one would worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, proper disciples have translated in that manner. So, yatharhataha, as it is proper. So, what is the proper way of worshipping Paramhamsas? Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, right? So that's how the translation is coming like that, just as one would worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One respects the Paramhams devotees as one respects the Supreme Lord. Yes, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. That particular idea. Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Sakshad Haritvena. It is seen as they are practically non-different than Lord Hari. Of course, they are not Hari. Kintu Prabhorya, that's the next line. But point is they are worshipped like that. That it is the same qualities ascribed to them because they can bestow similar mercy like Supreme Lord. This way. So the king also in this way, very wonderfully, he welcomed them. Purport. The word yatharhataha is significant here. According to Vishwanath Chakravarti, yatharhataha means yathochitam, or according to the proper etiquette. So, therefore, the word yatharhataha indicates that the king worshipped the 9 sages according to the standard Vaishnava etiquette. And what's the etiquette? The etiquette for worshipping exalted Vaishnavas is expressed by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur with the words Sakshad Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. So, he is a transparent via medium for the Lord's will. Guru is, or exalted Vaishnava is a transparent medium. And that's why practically he is worshipped like Lord Hari, right? Once Prabhupada was also, Prabhupada arrived in Rolls Royce, and then one of the reporters asked Prabhupada that, Swamiji, what is this? You are a monk, you are a renunciate. So, but then you are being offered Rolls Royce by your disciples. So, she wanted to sort of spur Prabhupada into speaking something which would be controversial material for the newspapers or magazine. And then Prabhupada was also very expert in dealing with these sort of journalists, right? So Prabhupada said, well, they have not offered me a golden Rolls Royce. It is still just some basic metals and all that. They should have offered me golden Rolls Royce instead of a normal Rolls Royce, whatever made up of steel and other materials. So he said it should be, even the golden Rolls Royce is not enough because Guru should be worshipped like the Supreme Lord. So even to a journalist, he conveyed that particular principle, that how the Guru should be worshipped, that idea. So the point is this. So that's how the sages are being welcomed by Maharaj Nimi. Proper disciples also bring up a very nice point. They say, although impersonalist philosophers claim that every living entity is equal to God, they callously step over the heads of their so-called spiritual masters and freely speculate on the nature of absolute, giving their own whimsical opinions in defiance of impersonal whims of their so-called gurus. In other words, although Mayavadi impersonalists claim that everyone is God, they ultimately show an offensive mentality towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you see, they may say, the Mayavadi philosophers, impersonalist philosophers may say that, well, everyone is God, right? Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. They say that there is no difference between Jiva, the living entity, and Brahman, the Supreme Absolute Truth. So everyone is, in that sense, God. Everyone is equal to God. But then we see that the way they treat their guru uh, is very callous, because they have their own ideas of speculation. Oftentimes, the Mayavadis, they have very different ideas from their gurus because everyone is free to speculate there. So even historically, we see that the ideas have very much differed from their previous ancestors, gurus or like that. So although that idea of guru shishya thing may be there, but then point is, subservience to the guru or obedience and following the guru's instructions as it is, that idea is not there. Everyone is free to speculate on the topic of absolute truth in whatever way they want. So oftentimes they have ideologies even which go against their own guru, uh, like that. So the whole idea of considering everyone as God is quite a hollow idea there, right? Because you don't respect even your own guru in that way. Uh, his opinions, his ideas are not taken to be the standard and followed in that same spirit. No. So talk is so much about considering oneself, every jiva to be like God, but where is the respect in terms of that? Uh, While Vaishnavas speak about how everyone is an insignificant servant of the Lord, so that idea may appear to be demeaning, but there is so much respect offered to every single living entity for that matter. What to speak of Vaishnavas and what to speak of Guru. You are able to see this contrast. On one side, Mayavadis are saying everyone is God, but the dealing is in such a way, the respect for Guru is also uh, not so much there because one is free to speculate on his own ideas and that way can defy the ideas of the Guru also. On other hand, Vaishnavas, they might say that, well, everyone is an insignificant servant of the Lord, Jive Swarup Hoy Krishna Nitya. But then you see, the whole culture is of the culture of respectful behavior towards each other, and also, uh, what to speak of Guru, he's Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. Everyone respects the Guru as good as one respects the Supreme Lord. So this contrast is being brought up very nicely. So in this way, the Mayavadi philosophers, they show an offensive mentality towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead in rejecting the reality of his eternal form and pastimes. So they have that offensive mentality towards the Supreme Lord by rejecting all his personality and everything. And in that way, they unwittingly belittle the eternal position of all living beings also by denying their eternal personality and activities in the kingdom of God. Right? See, if you consider someone's personality and activities only to be non-existent, that is considered to be like greatest belittling, right? Not recognizing anyone's existence only, existence of his personality, existence of individuality, if that is only not recognized, in today's world, you try it. If the individuality is not recognized, if the personality is not recognized, that would be considered the greatest denigration, greatest disparagement of someone's personality, right? But that's what is happening in the Mayavad philosophy. The individuality is negated, the personality is negated, not only Lord's, but even of the living entity. Uh, right? So that's how this philosophy we see that it is, uh, it's, curiously contradictory in its presentation and in its practice. So that is very nicely brought up by proper disciples over here. King Nimi was a Vaishnava, and therefore he worshipped the great sages with the same respect with which he would worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, when an impersonalist imagines that he has become God, he has no further need for his so-called guru. The Vaishnava, however, because he accepts the supremacy of eternal Personality of Godhead, is ready and willing to offer eternal respect to all living beings, especially to those most fortunate living beings who have achieved shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord. So, in this way, the difference between Mayavadis and the difference between Vaishnavas has been pointed out like that. So, sometimes, even though the Mayavadis or these spiritualists may offer outward respect, but at least we can understand inwardly the philosophy is denying all personality and individuality. So, what sort of philosophy is that, which is denying these ontological aspects, uh, existential aspects of one's personality? So, that's all. So, that's not Vaishnava philosophy. Vaishnavas revere other Vaishnavas, and what to speak of Paramhams devotees or pure devotees. They are treated as good as Supreme Lord. So that's how Nime Maharaj treated Navayotindras. All right, text 27. Tan rochamanan svarucha brahmaputropam nava papracha paramapritaha prashrayavanato nrapaha. Yes, Prabhu.
Overwhelmed by transcendental joy, the king humbly bowed his head and then proceeded to question the 9 sages. These 9 great souls glowed with their own effulgence and thus appeared equal to the 4 Kumaras, the sons of Lord Brahma. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Tan rochamanan svarucha brahmaputropaman nava papracha papracha, which means that he asked, Nime Maharaj asked. So he asked about something. He made his enquiries. He made his enquiries to these 9 sages. They are described as Rochamanan. These were very, very effulgence. They were glowing. They were glowing with their effulgence. They were very effulgent. Rochamanan. And that effulgence was not because of some ornaments or something. Sometimes somebody wears some very valuable ornaments or some jewels or diamonds or like that. Then also person may appear to be very effulgent. But this was not Swarucha. It is mentioned Swarucha. By their transcendental effulgence, they were very much glowing. Uh, the glow was not due to some ornaments or they didn't even wear clothes, right? Vata Rasana, it is mentioned in the prior verses. And they were Digambara sages. So the effulgence was their transcendental spiritual effulgence. Brahmaputropaman and Upama, and they were like uh, there was Sadrashta, similarity. They were practically like the sons of Brahma. 4 Kumaras, they are what are referred here. Brahmaputro Paman. And they were actually like the 4 Kumaras. Sanak Sanatan Sanandan Sanat Kumar, the 4 Kumaras. So the king, being very pleased, Paramapritaha, being extremely pleased, and prashraya vanato, and he became also extremely, uh, he became very humble in front of them because of very naturally he had that humility. And what to speak of these great sages? They were so exalted that everyone would be very humble uh, and meek in front of them. So the king humbly bowed his head, Prashraya Vanato, and he asked them these questions which are coming ahead now. Sridhar Swami, Swaruchaiva Rochamanan Natva Bharanadi Prakashaihi. Sridhar Swami says that yes, the sages were effulgent by their own effulgence, by their natural transcendental effulgence. Natu abharanadi prakashai. It was not because of the glow of the ornaments or anything else, other items of decoration or jewels or something. No. Brahmaputropaman, Sanat Kumaradi Sadrishan. Also, the sages were Sadrisha, they were like the four Kumaras. Just as four Kumaras, they are also extremely effulgent personalities, and they are filled with knowledge and renunciation, jnana, vairagya. So, similarly, these sages were also filled with jnana, vairagya, bhakti. First, bhakti, they were Paramhamsa devotees of the Lord. So, along with also jnana, vairagya, and everything else. This is it. So, Prabhupada's disciples. So, they have also mentioned these ideas of commentaries that we have already discussed. It has been described in the fourth canto that Maharaj Prithu received the four Kumaras with great love and reverence. And here King Nime is similarly receiving the 9 sons of Lord Rishabhadeva. So there is a comparison drawn between Maharaj Prithu receiving the four Kumaras. That episode comes in the fourth canto, right? So practically there it is mentioned that when the four Kumaras arrived, for Prithu Maharaj, it was like as if, the life heirs have returned. Someone who has lost consciousness, and when the consciousness is again manifest, then person starts moving his hands and legs and all, right? Uh, So similarly, when those sages arrived, Prithu, he felt like as if the life has returned. He felt like without the association of such sages, it would be a situation like one is unconscious, one is not having that consciousness in the body. So he felt so much happy and jubilant, when those sages arrived over there. I mean, the situation, the desperation is mentioned in that way. That just as the life airs are so important for our existence, right? Similarly, he saw the sages' association, he saw the association of Kumaras as life heirs. They are sustaining my life. Uh, they are the cause of existence. They are raison d'etre. They are the cause of my existence. Like that, he saw Maharaj Prithu. And similarly, here King Nime also is receiving, and the 9 sons of Lord Rishabhadeva. So, this sort of feeling of dependence on Guru, dependence on exalted devotees, that's the characteristic of a devotee. He feels that dependence on Guru, on Srila Prabhupada, on all the exalted devotees. So, that feeling is being shown here in Maharaj Nime's receiving also. Receiving exalted Vaishnavas with love and reverence is standard spiritual etiquette for those who desire progress and happiness in life. All right, text 28. Shri Videha Uvacha Manne Bhagavatah Sakshat Parshadanvo Madhudvishah Vishnor Bhutani Lokanam Pavanaya Charantihi. Yes, Prabhu.
King Videha said, I think that you must be direct associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is famous as the enemy of the demon Madhu. Indeed, the pure devotees of Lord Vishnu, wander throughout the universe not for their personal selfish interest, but to purify all the conditioned souls. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So, in this way, after welcoming them and worshipping them with proper paraphernalia, making them sit comfortably, then Shri Videha Uvacha, then the king Nimi said, King Videha said, so he spoke to them, Aham manye, I consider manye, I consider you to be what? I consider you to be Bhagavatah Sakshat Parshadan. I consider you all to be direct associates of the Supreme Lord. Sakshat Parshadan. Sakshat Parshadas. Parshada, you understand? Associate. Sakshat, direct. So I consider that you all are actually direct associates of the Supreme Lord. A Madhudvishaha. A Madhudvisha. So Madhudvish is one of the names of Sri Krishna, the enemy of the demon Madhu, Madhudvish. So that's how I understand you are. You are actually like direct associates of the Supreme Lord. Vishnor Bhutani Lokanam Pavanaya Charantihi. So if we are direct associates, what are we doing here? If that is what they would ask. You are saying we are direct associates of Supreme Lord. So what are we doing here? We should be with Lord Vishnu, no? We should be in Vaikuntha or something like that. No, agreed. But the point is, Vishnur Bhutani Lokanam Pavanaya Charantihi. Actually, the associates of Vishnu, Vishnur Bhutani, the devotees of Vishnu, they charantihi, they wander all over the earth, they wander all over the universe for lokanam pavanaya, for purification of all the living entities, for the purification of all the planets. Uh, they go everywhere so that they can purify the lives of the people. And that's why you are here. So I call you as direct associates of Supreme Lord, but those who have come here to purify the life of people like me, not for your selfish interest here. Sridhar Swami. Parama tad darshanam abhinandati dvabhyam manye iti. Sridhar Swami says in two verses. You can see how Sridhar Swami gives the sections of the verses so nicely. 7 verses say this, 2 verses say that. It's it's like very nicely they give the sections. Acharyas like Sridhar Swami or even Vishwanath Chakravarti does that. So it's like very easy for you to understand, okay, what's the purpose of these 2 verses? Whenever you study Bhagavatam, we should study in this fashion. Understand the purpose of the text first. Why does that text stand there? What's the purpose of that being spoken by the Sut Goswami or Shukdev Goswami? So once you understand that purpose, then you can talk about other things like personal application or preaching application and all that. But the fundamental philosophical idea should be clear. So one of the ways that helps when you study from the commentaries of acharyas is it gives you first clear insight on what is the purpose of that text. What is it saying? What are the various sections standing for? So in 2 verses, 28 and 29, what is King Videha or Nime Maharaj doing? He is tad darshanam abhinandati. He expresses the joy of receiving their darshan. Nime Maharaj got the darshana of the Navayogendras. So he is expressing his joy. Abhinandati, tad darshanam abhinandati, parama pritya, because he is very much delighted. He is extremely pleased. So he expresses also that joy that they are there. This way. Objection. ननु भगवतः पार्षदानां कथमत्र उपलब्धिः तत्राह विष्णोरिति. So objection is being raised now. So objection is being raised. So objection means opposite party, right? Objection means if now here Videha is speaking, means objection will come from the side of Navayogendras, right? It can come from the side of Navayogendras or anyone else. Basically, objection comes to Videha, King Nimi, and then he will answer that. Akshepasya samadhanam. Initial sessions you have heard. This is the style of the commentary, right? There is akshepa, objection, and that objection is answered by the speaker of the verse. So here, if the sages were to say that Bhagavatah Parshadanam Kathamatra Upalabdhihi, or anyone were to argue saying that, well, if you are calling them as associates of the Supreme Lord, so what are they doing here? Why have they arrived here? Katham Atra Upalabdhihi. What causes their presence here? So Tatraha Vishnoriti. So that particular akshepa is answered by this line Vishnor Bhutani Lokanam Pavanaya Charantihi. Akshepasya Samadhanam Vyakhyanam Panchalakshanam. Like that. So that is answered by the line starting with Vishnor, and that objection is answered. So yes, why are the sages here? Well, Vishnu Bhakta Loka Pavanartham Sarvatra Paryatanti Ityarthaha. The devotees of Lord Vishnu, they wander everywhere. Sarvatra Paryatanti. Paryatan karte hai. Atanam is wandering. Paryatanam is like wandering everywhere. Paritaha atanti. Paryatanti. They wander everywhere. So the devotees of Vishnu, they wander everywhere for what? Loka Pavanartham. They wander for purifying the whole world. How do they purify the whole world? By their instructions. By merely their presence also. Darshane pavitra koro yei tomar guna. But then, especially by their instructions. When they instruct the conditioned souls, their lives are transformed, and in that way, they are purifying the whole world, isn't it? So, by their chanting, by their singing, Shavanam, Kirtanam, by their Upadesha, instructions, they are purifying the whole world, isn't it? So, Vaishnava, he may be purifying one just by mere darshana. Pure devotees, darshana is also said to be something which destroys all the sinful reactions and desires, but especially from the aspect of when they share the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. Vishwanath Chakravarti also says, Pavanaya Kripaya Pavitri Kartum Ityarthaha. The devotees of Vishnu travel everywhere to purify the world by offering their mercy. Kripaya. So by offering their mercy in terms of awarding bhakti, that's the greatest mercy, right? The devotees, they are offering the devotional service to someone. That's the greatest mercy. What can be greater purifying thing than that? So that's how they purify the whole world. Purport. One may ask how such transcendental living beings as the associates of Lord Vishnu could be seen within the material world. That's why it is stated Pavanaya Charantihi. So you can see proper disciples, they are also raising those objections based on the purport, the commentaries, right? So Prabhupada's example is also given here. A representative of the governor may be seen moving within the prison house, but that does not mean that the governor's representative has become a conditioned prisoner, right? Prabhupada would give this example. A Lord himself coming in the material world or pure devotees coming in the material world. It's not that they are conditioned souls, but they are coming to purify others, to deliver others, just as sometimes a governor or prime minister also may visit a jail, a prison house. But it's not that he is coming in prison house to get some punishment of his crime or something. No, he may visit the prison house just so that some other prison inmates they can be taken out of prison by his mercy plea or something like that. It is understood that he is within the prison to negotiate the possible release of those prisoners who have rectified their criminal propensity. So that's how. So it's not that every soul in the material world is a conditioned soul. No, there are great devotees also coming here who are there to just help us. They are not Nityabadhas, they are not eternally conditioned souls, but they are the pure devotees. In the sixth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the mercy of the associates of Lord Vishnu has been described in connection with the salvation of Ajamila. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has pointed out that the associates of Lord Vishnu are as merciful as the Lord himself. So they are also equally merciful as the Lord. In fact, by Lord's mercy, they may be more merciful than the Lord, right? Supreme Lord, he may not offer his mercy to those who are unqualified, but the great devotees, pure devotees, may be more merciful. They have that nature of offering that mercy to even to the most fallen, like that. Of course, that is Lord's mercy only coming out with through them. But yes, still, the nature of Vaishnavas is being glorified like that. So he is appreciating this aspect that they have come there for their own, out of their own choice, but for the benefit of Maharaj Nimi. They have not come for their own selfish benefit. Sometimes sadhus come to our house. A conditioned soul may feel like, oh, these people have come for some their own benefit. But a sincere Vaishnava never thinks like that. That a sadhu or a great devotee, he's coming to my house for his own benefit. No, they're coming for our benefit actually. Whatever. Even if some resources are asked by sadhu, if they are for engagement in Lord service, whose benefit it is? It is our benefit only. If they're asking us to engage some of the resources in Lord service, so it is for our own benefit. Probably that money would have been used for some other purposes, for purposes of sense gratification, or if not, at least for some generic purposes, which are not so much useful. But by sadhu's mercy, those resources may be used in Krishna's service. So sadhu is engaging our time, our money, our physical energy in Krishna's service. So one can see that with gratitude. So that's how he is also expressing here. Text 29. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priya darshanam. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. For the conditioned souls, the human body is most difficult to achieve and it can be lost at any moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so very beautiful verse. Very popular verse also. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priya darshanam. So First and foremost, the human body itself is very rare. Dehinam manusho deho durlabha. The embodied souls, when they get a human form of life, a human body, that itself is quite a rare thing. Uh, Although someone may say, well, that body is kshanabhangura, that material body is very temporary, it can be lost at any moment. Uh, so, agreed. But still, although it can be lost at any moment, just like any other body, the body of animals or the body of humans, these are temporary in the sense they can be lost at any moment. These are not very long lifespans, right? uh, compared to the body of demigods or something like that. It is a very short lifespan. What to speak of Kali Yuga? Kali Yuga is all the more. Prayana alpayushah sabhya kalavasmin yuge jana. Alpayushah, it's a very small lifespan, especially in Kali Yuga. But if you compare it to devatas, demigods, or higher beings, it is kshana bhangura. It is a very short duration. But although it is so, the body, human body may be very, very short, but still it is considered to be very valuable and very rare thing because one can attain liberation in this human form of life. One can practice self-realization and one can attain the moksha. That's why it is glorified as the rarest but the valuable, very valuable. Rare and valuable, they go together, right? But tatrapi durlabham manne vaikuntha priya darshanam. But I consider, oh sages, I I think that even rarer, uh, even rarer is the opportunity to see the pure devotees of the Lord like yourself. That is so rare. The association of pure Vaishnavas, pure devotees, is even rarer than just getting the human form of life. Uh, because so many people may get human form of life, but it's not that they get the association of pure devotees, right? We can see around so many people, but all their life they may not have any association of pure devotees by their own choice. Even if they are offered, probably they may not want to take it because of ignorance. But the point is, yes, the rarity of a pure devotees association, the rarity of the instructions received from pure devotee, it's such a rare thing. That's the most rare thing, rarest thing, most confidential thing. Sridhar Swami, Maya durlabham labdham aho bhagyam ityaha durlabha iti. Sri Nime Maharaj is expressing his joy and he's expressing that actually it's unestimable fortune. Uh, what a fortune! Oh, what a fortune I have received! What is very difficult to achieve. Uh, Today, aho bhagyam. Today, it's such a great fortune that I have received something which is very difficult to achieve. The association of pure devotees. बहवो देहा भवन्ति येषां ते देहिनः तेषां क्षणभङ्गुरोऽपि मानुषो देहो दुर्लभः. So, dehinam, that's the word used, right? So what does that mean? One, the jiva or the conditioned soul who undergoes many, many bodies, one who receives many, many bodies. The conditioned souls, they receive many bodies, right? Animal species, tree species, or human or superhuman species. So when they receive these bodies, amongst them, the body, the human form or the human body, it is what? It is kshana bhangura. Uh, it is actually short-lived. Uh, but still it is considered to be very rare because parama purushartha sadhanatvat. So these words you can note. Parama Purushartha Sadhanatvat. Because human body is the sadhana, the means of attaining the highest goal of life. Parama Purushartha. Human form of life is considered to be rare and valuable because you can attain Param Purushartha. You can attain the highest goal of life. That is liberation, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, out of which moksha is considered highest. But higher than that is actually prema, the love of Godhead, pancham purushartha, the fifth purushartha, the fifth goal of life. Typically, four are said: dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. So that's why human form is so much glorified that one can attain the param purushartha, liberation. But then higher than that is prema bhakti. Vaikuntha priyo yesham, Vaikuntha's va priyaha tesham darshanam. But higher than even the human form of life is basically the darshan, the association of pure devotees. Those pure devotees are described as Vaikuntha priya. What does it mean? Those who have accepted Lord Vaikuntha, Lord Shri Krishna as their beloved, or those devotees have been accepted by the Lord as beloved. Vaikunthasya va priyaha tesham darshanam. Vaikuntha priya, the meaning is one who is dear to Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha here means Lord. Lord Krishna or Supreme Lord Narayana. Vaikuntha is one of the names of Lord Vishnu also, because his mother is Vikuntha. Lord's mother name is Vikuntha. That's why Lord is known as Vaikuntha. And this is one reason also. Of course, the general meaning, there is no misery in Vaikuntha. So that place where there is no misery, or that personality who causes elimination of all misery in our life, that person is Vaikuntha. So the devotees have accepted the Lord as their dearmost object. And Lord has also accepted devotees as his dearmost objects. That's why the devotees are known as Vaikuntha Priya. Vaikuntha Priya. So their association is even rarer because they can bestow bhakti, they can bestow prema, which is higher than liberation. Vishwanath Chakravarti points this out. Durlabho moksha sadhanatvat. The human body is rare because it is means to attain moksha. But tatrapi iti vaikuntha priyanam mokshatapi adhikasya bhakti yogasya pradayakatvat. But why the Vaikuntha Priyas, or why the devotees are considered to be rarer? The darshan of devotees is considered to be rarer than the human form of life because they can pradayakatvat, they can bestow bhakti yoga, which is higher than moksha. Liberation is a great accomplishment, but much higher than that is bhakti or prema, love for the Supreme Lord. And that can be given by the pure devotees. That is why they are being glorified as, their association is being glorified as higher than even the, rarer than even just the human form of life. Because one may waste the human form of life also. Although it has the potential, but one may waste that potential. But if one comes in the association of devotees, then by their instructions, by their mercy, they will transform their lives. So that's why. All right, so this is all. Today I'm going to complete till text 31 and then we'll pause. So just in case, yeah, you want to know, I will stop at 31. So here, proper disciples. According to some wishful thinkers, a living entity in the human form of life will never be degraded to a lower form, such that of animal or plant. Right? Sometimes some religions also have this view. They think that once you get a human form of life, then you don't degrade further to animal or animal species or plant species or like that. That's it. Just one life. And then based on how you live that life, destination is decided. So all these ideas are not very knowledgeable ideas. They are ignorant ideas. Foolish scientists have invented highly sophisticated terminologies and theories to bluff innocent people into believing that life comes from chemical reactions. And then on the other hand, the scientists and all, they may claim that life comes from chemicals. So proper disciples speak that how this is a bogus idea. Life comes from life. Prabhupada also speaks about all these ideas. Okay. Those who have accepted the Supreme Lord and His abode are, as the ultimate goal of life, are called Vaikuntha Priya. Here, King Nimi states that to have the personal association of such transcendental, learned transcendentalist is certainly the perfection of human life. Bhaktisiddhanta quotes this popular verse from 11th canto, Uddhava Gita. Nridehamadyam sulabam sudurlabham, plavam sukalpam guru karnadharam, mayanukulena nabhasvateritam, puman bhavabdhim natareta satmaha. Krishna says this. That the human body is considered to be like a boat, and the guru is considered to be like expert captain. The Vedas are compared to be like favorable winds. So in a voyage, uh, take a voyage across the sea. So you need a good boat, right? And you need favorable winds. You need also an expert captain. So the life is being compared to a voyage. It's a struggle. I mean, the voyage is a bit great struggle. It's not a bon voyage. It's not a very pleasurable journey. But the point is, if we accept Guru as our captain of the boat, our boat itself is compared to the human form of body, and the scriptures are considered to be the favorable breezes. So, in spite of all these arrangement, if someone does not take the benefit of that, Krishna says such a person is Atmaha. He is killer of the soul. If he does not cross over the ocean of birth and death, then such a person is Atma. Like that. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati also says that uh, the eternal servants of Supreme Lord, being controlled by powerful feelings of mercy, descend into the material world as Vaishnavas to deliver the conditioned souls who are bound by results of their mundane work. Such Vaishnavas also distribute their mercy to those who are laboriously searching after impersonal absolute. So the mercy of Vaishnavas is on not only the fallen conditioned souls, but it is also on those who are speculative on the nature of absolute truth. So Vaishnavas look mercifully towards not only the conditioned, fallen, suffering souls, but also those who are suffering by the intellectual gymnastics, the Mayavadis, or those who have the ideas of impersonal absolute truth. So they also want to distribute their mercy. They look at them also with compassion and want to help them this way. So that is Vaikuntha Priya Darshanam. So that's why he makes his two enquiries. So these two enquiries are the last two verses that we will see today. So Nime Maharaj is making his enquiries now in text 30 and 31. अतः आत्यन्तिकं क्षेमं पृच्छामो भवतो नगाः संसारेऽस्मिन् क्षणार्धोऽपि सत्सङ्गः सेवधीर्नृणाम्. Yes, Ishwar Prabhu, you continue for these two also.
Therefore, O completely sinless ones, I ask you to kindly tell me what the supreme good is. After all, even half a moment's association with pure devotees within this world of birth and death is a priceless treasure for any man. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah. So that's why he says, oh dear devotees, अतः आत्यन्तिकं क्षेमं पृच्छामः भवतः. So, oh dear sages, I ask you something. Please tell me about Atyantikam Kshemam. Kshemam means welfare or well-being or good. Kshema, Yoga Kshemam Vahamyam, Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, right? Of course, there the meaning Kshema is more like, Krishna preserves whatever he has given. Yoga is Krishna provides what you lack, and Kshema is he preserves what you have. Kshema, in general, it means well-being. It means welfare. Atyantika Kshema, which means supreme welfare. So, my dear sages, I ask you, what is the supreme welfare? Atyantika Kshema. I want to inquire this thing to you, that please tell me what is supreme good? What is supreme welfare for me? O Anaghas, O sinless sages, samsaresmin kshanardhopi satsanga shevadhirnanam. In fact, in this material world, even a half moment's association of great devotees like you, it is actually the greatest treasure for the living beings, greatest treasure for the human beings. So you have come here. I consider this is the greatest treasure for me. And that's why I want to inquire unto you, Atyantikam Kshemam. What is the supreme benefit? Everyone in this world is looking for some benefit. But please tell me, what is the ultimate benefit? What is the supreme good? So this is their question. This is the question of the king, Sridhar Swami. Anagha niravadyaha. Anagha means the sages are free from any faults. He is saying niravadya. Niravadya means free from faults, dosha rahita. No doshas, no faults. Shevadhi means nidhi. Shevadhi means a great treasure. Even a half moment's association of sadhus, of pure devotees, is a great treasure. Why is that? We will see. It's commented by other acharyas. Nidhi labhe yatha anando bhavati tatha atra paramananda iti artha. Just as nidhi labhe, if one receives, attains a great treasure, nidhi labha, then what happens? Anando bhavati, one becomes ecstatic, one becomes blissful, joyful. So similarly, coming of you here in my, court, in my palace, it has become a cause of great joy for me. It's like I have received a great treasure actually. This way. Srila Jiva Goswami says, Atyantikam kshemam iti yasmin sati bhayamatram na sprishati iti artha. What is the meaning of Atyantika kshema? Srila Jiva Goswami says, Atyantika kshema means that thing by which there will be no trace of any fear whatsoever. With the attainment of supreme good, not even a trace of fear can touch the living entity. So that is supreme benefit. Once you receive it, then there is no trace of any fear. In this world, one may receive, whatever which are considered to be material accomplishments. One may attain great education, great wealth, or a very qualified spouse, or a very good family, great property, bank balance. But does it cause the destruction of all the fear? Or does the fear still survive? Does the fear continue? Indeed, it continues. In fact, the fear may increase. Previously, one may be fearful about oneself. Now one is fearful about so many dependents. One is fearful about protecting the property, protecting the money, protecting the enterprise that one has created. So, Jiva Goswami is giving this definition. What is that supreme good, benefit? What is that supreme welfare where bhayamatram na sprashati? There is no trace of fear after that. So that's what I'm asking. Shevadhi means Sarvabhishtada. Shevadhi, which has been translated as treasure by Sridhar Swami. So he says, Jiva Goswami says it means that Shevadhi means which can bestow everything desirable. So you can bestow everything desirable. That's why I'm asking you this question. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary, I will go through it quickly. Vishwanath Chakravarti says he is giving a very dynamic analysis of what's going on in the mind of King Nimi. It's very beautiful analysis. Just in case any of you need to leave, please go ahead. I might take around 8 to 10 minutes more, but it's 12:30 already. So if you need to leave, please go ahead. No worries. I will complete these two verses and then I will pause. Vishwanath Chakravarti says, well, he says, you are guests here, so one should ask about the well-being of a guest who arrives. You have come to me as guest, Atithi, right? So I should ask you about how are you? When the guests come, then we say, no, how are you? How are your travels? Are you well? So the well-being of the guest should be asked, right? Uh, But he says, but such a question is inappropriate to those who are Atma Ramas. But what can I ask you about your well being? Because you are self satisfied sages. In fact, you are embodiments of all auspiciousness. कुशल स्वरूप, you are कुशल स्वरूप, आप खुद कुशलता के स्वरूप हो. You are the embodiments of all auspiciousness. And what am I to ask you? How are you? Are you well? How are you doing? What can I ask you? So, should I ask about my own well being then? In fact, asking about one's own material well being to you is also inappropriate. I cannot ask you about my own well being, right? I can't ask you about your own well being. I can't ask you about my own well being also. How am I to ask you about my well being, right? Uh, my material well being, he is saying. I know you are the greatest of sages, so how can I ask you about material well being for me, myself, my own material well being? Vyavaharik kushala prashna. Kushala means well being, Vyavaharik means conventional, common. So I can't ask you about my common well being. If I want to ask you, I should ask you about how I can have spiritual well being. So that's why Atyantikam, Paramarthikam eva. So I ask you only for my spiritual well being. Because asking you about your spiritual being is no good because you are self-satisfied sages, you are paramhamsas, you are embodiments of all auspiciousness. What kind of question that would be if I ask you, how are you? In fact, how am I doing spiritually? That's what I should ask, and how I can improve spiritually. That's what I would ask. What is the spiritual well-being? Paramarthikam Shreya, Paramarthikam Kushala. Vyavharik Kushal nahi, Paramarthik Kushala, spiritual well-being. That way. Anagha means that no sins can exist in your presence. See, Vishwanath Chakravarti is giving such amazing meanings. Anagha, Sridhar Swami translated as sinless. Those who are sinless, dosha rahita, without any faults. But Vishwanath Chakravarti says, Anagha, meaning free from sin, basically you make others free from sin. No sins can exist in your presence. You have destroyed all my sins just by your darshana. But there is no benefit desired by me. But there is some benefit, not no benefit. Some benefit desired by me, so I am asking you. He is saying, my sins are destroyed just by your darshana. But there is something which I should inquire about. How to attain that prema bhakti, how to attain that highest benediction of Krishna bhakti. So that I am asking you. In fact, he is asking what is the highest good. So sins may have gone by your darshan only, but still I should inquire about what is that supreme benefit and what is the process to attain that supreme benefit. So I am asking you. On this, if the sages have the objection, well, why such a rush? We have just arrived, you have welcomed us, you have made us to sit, and immediately you are inquiring. Immediately you are asking a question. So this can be asked in good time. We have good time. Why so much haste? So that is answered by the king in the next line, Kshanardhopi. He says, this is because a duration of even a half a moment with pure devotees of the Lord is the great treasure. This is why if one suddenly receives this great treasure, why should one delay in asking eagerly what is desired by him? You see, what an amazing internal thoughts that Vishwanath Chakravarti is revealing, right? If the sages were to say, okay, we have just arrived and we are sitting now, immediately you are posing an inquiry question. So he says, it's like, your association is such a great treasure and which I have received suddenly, and I know that you will not stay here for a long time. I don't have that great fortune that devotees like you will stay here for a long time. So I am very eager to ask. Immediately I want to ask. If one receives a great treasure suddenly, will one not want to fulfill his desires immediately? Or will one wait? If one is very eager, he would want to fulfill his desires by that great treasure immediately, isn't it? So similarly, I have got your association in akasmika way, in a very sudden manner. You have come on your own desire, yadrichaya. So if I have got this special fortune, why should I wait? I want to know about Atyantik Shema and your instructions on this. Huh? Where do I have that special fortune that you would stay here for a long time? That's the import in asking this question. That's the import in saying that even a half moment's association of pure devotees, it is the greatest treasure. Because treasure can fulfill any desires, right? Similarly, your association is that treasure which can bestow the highest benediction to me by your instructions, by your mercy. This is how he is speaking to them. So that's why that Shaigram, that's why that great eagerness and immediately asking that question to them. So Prabhupada's disciples also have they have extensively written all these ideas in their purport also this way. So that's why I'm going quickly through the purport. Uh, According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, in this world there are different varieties of mercy. But ordinary mercy cannot bring about the cessation of all unhappiness, right? We were talking about the treasure. Which treasure is that which makes one free from all the fear? So the mundane social workers, they also help people, and it is good. It is good that they are offering some help, but their unhappiness is merely postponed or altered. But by the mundane help, the unhappiness or miseries, they are only postponed or altered. Therefore, the king Nimi thought, you are not prone to sinful activities like unfortunate mundane people such as me. So when you are helping, you will not help in that ordinary manner. You will help by offering the supreme good. That's why I want you to answer this question of what is the supreme good in this way. All right. So one more question and then this he stops. First question. Dharman bhagavatan bruta yadi na shrutaye kshamam yai prasannah prapannaya dasyatyatmanam apyaja. Yes,
Translation.
Prabhu.
Please speak about how one engages in devotional service of the Supreme Lord if you consider me capable of properly hearing these topics. When a living entity offers loving service to the Supreme Lord, the Lord is immediately satisfied, and in return, he will give even his own self to the surrendered soul. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. And that's why, in order to achieve that Atyantika Kshema, in order to achieve that supreme welfare, supreme good, please speak the Bhagavad Dharmas. So he, in a way, knows it, but he's also still inquiring. Because, as we said the other day, a devotee always wants to know deeper and deeper aspects of that, various angles of that particular thing. So that's why he is saying, please speak that Bhagavad Dharma. First, tell me what is the Atyantik Shema, what is the highest uh, supreme welfare, and please speak to me the practices that will help me attain that supreme welfare. Yadi naha shrutaye kshamam, if you consider that I or this assembly is suitable to hear that, this assembly is appropriate assembly, and that they can hear this subject, then only you speak. If you think we are not worthwhile people, we are worthless people for that, so then you can decide on your own discretion. But if you think we are worthy to hear, please speak these things. Dharma, Bhagavad Dharma, that Bhagavad Dharmas are those duties, those principles by which Prasannaha Prapannaya Dasyatya Atmanam Apyaja. The unborn Lord, he offers himself to the surrendered soul. Bhagavad Dharma Bhakti is so wonderful that Lord is ready to give himself to the surrendered devotee. So please speak this Bhagavad Dharma to us if you think that we are worthy or capable enough to receive these instructions. Sridhar Swami. For the purpose of Atyantik Shema, please speak about the Bhagavad Dharma, if it is appropriate for us to hear about it. Tad Artham, meaning in order to achieve the purpose of Atyantika Shema, please speak about Bhagavad Dharma. What kind of Bhagavad Dharma? By that the unborn Lord Hari offers himself to the devotee. This way. Jiva Goswami says, Tadrish Kshema Paryavasana Dharmamsha Bruta. Please speak about those Bhagavad Dharma duties as they lead to that kind of supreme spiritual good. So, not do all the dharmas not lead to that same goal? So he says, no. The Bhagavad Dharma only leads to that topmost goal. All the dharmas don't lead. There are various dharmas, no? There is karma kand, there is jnana, there is yoga, and then there is bhakti, which is called Bhagavad Dharma. So, do all these paths also lead to the topmost welfare? No, they don't lead. That's why he is saying, please speak the Bhagavad Dharma. What is the use of other paths which are obstructed paths? They don't offer the greatest of the supreme good. Love of Godhead is not attained by karma kand or jnana kand or yoga. No, only bhakti offers that, right? That's the point. What is that Atyantik Kshema? He details also. It is that by which the Lord gives himself to the surrendered devotee. Dasyati word has been used. Dasyati is a future. Dasyati, the Bhagavad Dharma principle by which Lord will give himself to the surrendered devotee. But those of you who are Sanskrit people, you must be knowing Dasyati is not, it is an immediate future. It is not remote future. It is an immediate future tense. Lit. So it proves that Lord will soon reveal to that devotee if he takes to the process of bhakti. Then Lord himself, Shigram, quickly gives to that devotee in terms of constant manifestation in his heart, in terms of anavarat spurti. Lord will start manifesting himself in his heart constantly. Spurti. So it is talking about the level of bhava. One will attain that bhava or prema very quickly if he becomes a surrendered soul. So that's why he is saying, please speak to these to me about this. So basically, he has asked for Atyantik Shema, supreme good, and the process to attain that, which is Bhagavad Dharma. So you can say, in a way, it is question about the goal and the means. It's like that. It's bhakti process's goal and also bhakti process itself. It is like that. So that's it. So proper disciples say that there are two kinds of mundane philosophers who present their opinions of Supreme Lord. So one is those who connect, those who think that God is completely disconnected from the material world. Uh, Even some religionists speak like that. God is completely disconnected, and other ones are there who say that everything is God, everyone is God. So these both are actually extreme ideas. God is neither disconnected, nor is God just, I mean, God and the living entity, they are just one. No, that is also not correct idea. But the Chinte Bheda Ved Tattva, that's the right idea. So how Krishna gives his devotees, Krishna gives himself to the devotees described by pastimes such as Damodar Leela or Krishna becoming Arjuna's charioteer and all that this way. So our philosophy is the philosophy of Achinte Bheda Bhed. That's the point. Okay. Thank you very much. So these are the inquiries, and now the wonderful answers will start by the Navayogendras. So that's a very beautiful topic, starting from next verse. So we'll see them in these discussions in the next session onwards. In my original schedule, whatever holidays I had planned, I'm going to take the sessions on those days because, as I said, my engagement is changed. So I'm going to take sessions also in the next week. So that gives us some additional sessions to us now to complete this topic. Just in case I'm running slow, I can still finish now because I'm canceling all the holidays that I gave. But in case you can't make it to these sessions, I am perfectly fine. You may hear the recordings if you have planned your life already in such a way that you were not planning to attend these classes. So you may take off still. So every Thursday, Friday, as we are continuing, we will go ahead now also because I am available on those sessions. So we will meet in the next week also. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. If anyone
Hare
has any
Krishna.
questions,
Hare Krishna,
yeah.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you again so much for an amazing session. Prabhuji,
Thank you very
I
much.
just would like to know a little more about Vikunta and Vaikuntha. This is the first time I ever heard about Vikunta being mother of Lord, and Vaikuntha is name of God as well.
Okay. Yes, yes. Thank you. So, in case any of you need to leave, please go ahead. Others who have question only, they may stay back. Yeah. Please go ahead. Thank you very much for your patient listening. Okay, so Mataji, your question about Vikuntha. So this comes in the eighth canto. You can see this in the eighth canto of Bhagavatam. You can search. Lord Vaikuntha. This is one of the names of Lord, and he is that personality whose mother is Vikuntha. So he is one of the Manvantar avatars. Manvantar avatars. So Manvantar avatars are those incarnations of the Lord. They appear for that particular Manvantara, and they help in the universal administration. They help the demigods like Indra and all. These Manvantar avatars, they help in the universal administration. So these avatars also have their own leelas and all, pastimes and all like that. So Vaikuntha is also one of the Manvantar avatars. And he is the one who lives in Vaikuntha along with his beloved wife Rama. Uh, So all these pastimes, you have heard Jai Vijay getting cursed and all that. So that time, Lord Vaikuntha only appeared there. So the whole discussion that has happened between Kumaras and Lord, which is there in the third canto. So this is all happening with Lord Vaikuntha.
A
And
third
this,
canto, Vaikuntha. Yes, yes.
yes,
We,
third canto. So that is
yes.
all discussion happening between Kumaras and Lord Vaikuntha himself. So of course we know that, I mean, who can be mother of the Lord? But Lord accepts one of his devotees only as his mother. So here, Vaikuntha, which is one of the Narayan forms, so he has accepted Mother Vaikuntha as his transcendental mother. he appeared through her. So that's why he is known as Vaikuntha. That's one of the reasons. So that's an eternal form of the Lord. So just like we talk about Krishna's mother or Narayana's mother, so similarly, there may be mother of, there is mother of Lord Vaikuntha called as Vikuntha, and that's why he is known as Vaikuntha. So he resides in a Vaikuntha planet which is within the material world. Within the material world. It is called Brahmanda Madhyavarti Vaikuntha or Prapancha Antarvarti Vaikuntha. So within material world also there are some planets which are actually Vaikunthas. And that information also may be new to you. Like Shweta Dvipa, it
Yes,
is one of the
absolutely. Prapanchavarti Vaikuntha.
Prapancha Madhyavarti Vaikuntha or Prapanchavarti Vaikuntha. So there are some spiritual planets within material world also. So one of them is Rama Vaikuntha, in which this personality called as Lord Vaikuntha resides. He resides there. And that's where this whole pastime happened of Jai Vijay getting cursed and all that. Another abode within material world, but it is spiritual world, is Shvetadvipa. Shvetadvipa is also a transcendental Vaikuntha, but it is in the material world. So although material world will be destroyed, these planets are never destroyed. They continue to stay there. Again, material world is created, they manifest. When material world is destroyed, they become unmanifest, but they are eternal. They are never destroyed. So especially three Vaikuntha planets within material world. One is Shvetadvipa, where Kshirodakshai Vishnu resides. Another is this Rama Vaikuntha, where Lord Vaikuntha resides. His name is only Vaikuntha. And third one is Pole Star or Dhruva Loka, where Dhruva resides. Like that. Okay.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I mean, you are a treasure house. The name of our this session, Treasures of Tradition, so aptly
And
describes you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
thank you for your kind words. It's just that, whatever is Uchishta of our Acharyas, I'm trying to give. It's their remnants. So it's just that I'm reading it and giving it. You can read it and also you can give it. That's all. Ishvara Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thanks for the wonderful session once again. In the 30th commentary, which of VCT, it is also said that in fact, asking about one's own material well-being to you is also inappropriate. Prabhuji, normally, whenever any guest comes, we don't ask about our own well-being. We only ask about well-being. And in this case, of course, spiritual well-being one can, or spiritual progress, what one would like to have, we can ask. But normally we don't have this, right? Even though it is inappropriate, definitely we don't do that. Like, how am I? Let's suppose if I come to you, you won't ask about yourself, how you are.
Yeah. See, it is exactly not in that sense, Prabhu, that okay, when it is mentioned that I will not ask your well-being, because Nime Maharaj saying to the sages that okay, I will not ask your well-being because you are self-satisfied. Atma Ramas, agreed. Okay, what about my well-being? So I should ask about my well-being, but it is not appropriate to ask about my well-being. So is it in the sense of a question like, how am I? And not exactly so much like that. It is in this term that, okay, I am suffering from this and this condition. So how can I get rid of it? It is that kind of question. Vyavaharik kushala prashna. So he's saying it is inappropriate to ask you people like that because you are yourself transcendental Atma Rama sages. So how can I ask for my own material well-being and saying, oh, I'm suffering from this disease and please remove it, or I'm suffering from lack of progeny, please do this or that thing. So that would be quite a normal thing, right? Even when Angira and Narada came, Chitraketu was so desperate that that's all he could ask, nothing else. He didn't bother to ask anything else to them. So it is from that angle he is saying Vyavaharik Kushala Prashna. So in front of great sage who can give anything, that desperation probably would be very normal thing. But he is saying, I cannot ask that to you because how can I ask that to you because you are yourself exalted sages. So this is showing Nime's discretion also, that Nime's exalted nature also. So he is taking it logically. I cannot ask about your own well-being. No, I cannot ask about my material well-being, saying, please give me these things and all that. So what should I ask? I should ask about my spiritual well-being. How can I see even that thing? He is not asking them in this fashion. No, the question is not like this. So how do you see me spiritually? Do I look fine? No, he's asking, what is Atyantika Kshema? I want to know how I can attain that. That's the sense. Okay.
Thank you so much. Probably one small observation or like clarification. In the Akshepa Samadhana, the Akshepa is by the Acharya, and the answer is available in the text itself, isn't it? This is what I've understood.
Yeah, Akshepa could be by Acharya. See, Akshepa will always come from Acharya, but you have to see whose Akshepa he is giving. See,
Acha.
commentaries where Akshepa is coming, no, but is that Akshepa by Acharya or is he saying, so if Krishna were to ask, if the sages were to say, so the Akshep is put into whose mouth? That's the point.
Okay. And the
Will
answer,
always come from Acharya. But the Akshepa, so the point is, whoever is speaking, no, like verse is being spoken by Nimi, then Akshep would be always from the other side.
oh,
It will be like.
all right.
Okay, so whenever you raise an objection, so you have to see who is the speaker of that verse. Because if the speaker of the verse is Nimi, then the objection would be from opposite side. It could be an impersonalist, it could be the sages themselves are objecting something, right? Sometimes Acharya may say, uh, and that objection he is raising, that objection could be by impersonalist. Suppose if the objection were something like, but why are you so interested in worshiping Lord's personal form? Why not worship Brahman? So now who will raise this kind of objection? It will be raised by some worshippers of Brahman. So now those Brahmavadaya, those Brahmavadya, those people, they are the objectors. But that objection is being revealed by the Acharya. That will always be there because they are the ones who are writing comment.
And the
Got
answer
it?
is there in the line, in the
The
third
answer
line.
is within the line. Yeah, the answer will be in the line. The verse will answer that.
Okay, Guru. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, so now you understand that how it is progressed. All right. Vrati Banjari Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Bolo
Thank you, Prabhuji,
obeisances.
for the class. Prabhuji, this Rama Vaikuntha, may I know a little more about it? Because I've heard about the Dhruva and the Shvetadweep. What happens and what is its purpose in the material world?
See,
Thank
Rama
you, Prabhuji.
Vaikuntha, it is described in the 8th canto, as I said. So, Vaikuntha, Lord Vaikuntha manifested this Rama Vaikuntha for his beloved Rama Devi. For her pleasure, he manifested this Vaikuntha. Of course, it is an eternal planet, but still, as a pastime, the manifestation is sometimes said, no? Like Krishna, he manifested something, but then it's not like before that it is not there. Krishna wore a peacock feather. So he sometimes manifests a pastime to show why he wore that peacock feather. Like you hear those pastimes, how he was defeated by, dance, defeated by Radharani in the dance, and they were dancing in the form of peacocks and all. So sometimes the pastimes may be there to show a particular idea which is eternal. It's not that Krishna was not wearing peacock feather before that. He was wearing peacock feather even before that. But in a particular pastime, he may manifest that kind of action sometimes. Krishna taking the flute, Krishna receiving the flute, or Krishna receiving so many things. Panchajanya, Krishna receives that Panchajanya conch from the demon. So before that, he didn't have any any Panchajanya, no conch. It doesn't make sense. So, but then, yes, in that particular pastime, it is manifested like that. So, same way, although Rama Vaikuntha is eternal, it was manifested by Lord Vaikuntha when his beloved desired like that, Rama Devi. She desired like that. And it is on
Thank you,
Lokalok
Prabhuji.
mountain. It is on Lokalok mountain. There are Lokalok mountains in our universe. So it is above that. Lokalokasya upari. It is mentioned that. And it is a place where a lot of pastimes happen. Typically, whenever we hear about some sages or personalities like Kumaras trying to enter Vaikuntha and all. Many times it is about Rama Vaikuntha because these pastimes they don't happen outside of the universal layers, meaning many times. Within the universe, the pastime is happening. So Vaikunthas that are mentioned are most of the times Vaikunthas within the material world. Sometimes it could be beyond also, but usually it's like that. So that is what I at least remember about Rama Vaikuntha.
Yes, Prabhuji. And also Dhruva star that you mentioned, in that Prishnigarbha is there, or how does he function, Dhruva's planet?
Yeah, see, basically, Lord Krishnagarbha was the one who blessed Dhruva. Dhruva was blessed by Krishnagarbha only. Uh, Fourth Manvantara's avatar, Krishnagarbha. So he is Manvantara avatar of the fourth. So now, Dhruva's planet has the Supreme Lord, uh, Supreme in the sense that it is Vaikuntha planet and it is awarded to Dhruva. Uh, but does Lord Prishnagarbha reside there constantly? No, that I have not seen that kind of reference where it is mentioned that Prishnagarbha resides there constantly. So the point is that it was his own planet that Lord gave to Dhruva, and Dhruva is the presiding head of that particular planet now. So that's how it is. So Prishnigarbha gave him darshan, Prishnigarbha bestowed mercy upon him, and that is the form which Dhruva worships and relishes. But is Prishnigarbha constantly residing in Dhruva Loka? I didn't see any such reference.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else wants to ask anything? Mm. What about Durvasa Muni? Where did he go? Did he go to Rama Vaikuntha or did he go to the Mahavaikuntha? Mahavaikuntha, that's the word. That which is beyond all the universal layers, out of universe. That's all. So as far as Durvasa is concerned, I didn't see the reference from Vishwanath Chakravarti or Jiva Goswami, but the idea that these pastimes happen in material world only. So even in case of Durvasa or like that, I can say that similar conjecturing can be done. Like even Hiranyakashipu, he was allowed in that Vaikuntha when he went there for searching the Supreme Lord. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that whenever sages like Bhrugu or sages like even the four Kumaras for that matter, or sometimes even the demons like Hiranyakashipu, if they are allowed to enter into Vaikuntha, so he says that is typically this Vaikuntha, Rama Vaikuntha, like that. So, as far as I remember, in the ninth canto, there is no clear reference on did Durvasa go to Mahavaikuntha or Namavaikuntha. But on the idea, overall idea of usually these pastimes happen within the material world only. Somebody going beyond the material world to meet the Lord in Mahavaikuntha and all that, that only people like Narad Muni or like that they can do. That's not so much with other sages like Bhrigu or even Durvasa can be conjectured in the same fashion. So I would say, as far as I have read, I didn't see reference of Mahavaikuntha in the 9th canto. But maybe I can check once. Even Durvasa should come in the same category, like that. Like Bhrigu went to Shvetadvipa, and even Hiranyakashipu, he was allowed in the Vaikuntha, the Rama Vaikuntha. And certainly the pastime of Kumaras has also happened over there. So Durvasa also in the similar light. Okay, thank you for that question. Hare Krishna. Okay, I think we can pause here. I see there are no further questions. So let's meet in next week also to continue the wonderful answers given by Navayogendras. It's a very beautiful section. So please, if you want to, if you attend them, a lot of learning on Bhakti Tattvas is there. Very beautiful verses. So let's see that in the next session. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, समस्त आचार्य वृंद की जय. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Dandavat Pranam.
Thank